Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and can you believe it, there is only 100 days until Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Way! I've given it away that I'm here.
But we also have Sion.
Oh, okay, all right, cat's out of the bag now.
So we thought we would take the occasion, like there's only 100 days until the game comes out, so what do we want out of the game? I think it's very different because some like everything about Breath of the Wild and some have some things that they would like to change. And I know you, Sion, have something that you would like to at least get innovated upon in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, and I mean, we already have Breath of the Wild. I almost said Breath of the Wild 1 because I'm still like my brain still isn't like reset to calling it Tears of the Kingdom yet, strangely. But you know, like, Felix, you're playing Breath of the Wild again now, just not even for like research or anything, just because you want to, you know? So
oh yeah,
I think a lot of us, you know, when you really sit down, it'd be great to have just Tears of the Kingdom be just more Breath of the Wild, but I do, you know, I personally want it to be different. And one of the ways, and that I think there's others out there like this too, but I really want this game to kind of be the Majora's Mask of the Breath of the Wild story arc. And one way that I want that to come true is, so Breath of the Wild was a very dark game. There are a lot of sad moments. Lots of people die in the past. You know, basically the world is like ruined, and Ganon is has consumed it all. But like I said, we see a lot of those events happen in the past, and I kind of want there to be more. I don't need more death in the game necessarily.
I want death, and I want it now.
But I want to feel sad. I want there to be some soul crushing moments that make me feel for Link in his journey. Like maybe is Zelda gonna die when she falls into that hole?
Imagine how anticlimactic that would be. She just dies, and that's what we see in the trailer.
That's the whole game. She's just dead, and the game ends.
Eiji Aonuma's like, we did consider implementing co-op with Zelda, but unfortunately she died during development, and there was nothing we could do to change that. So
we tried having Link drag a lifeless corpse behind him, but it just didn't give off that Nintendo vibe.
It just wasn't fun. Yeah. You know, maybe Link dies. Maybe Link dies at the end of the game because he's gone through so much.
Or maybe he dies at the start of the game, like Majora's Mask. Have you not seen the theory videos?
Oh, I have. But I like where your head's at. So, you know, I just want... I almost said
He's
Breath
got a messed up arm. That's enough.
I almost said Breath of the Wild 2 again. I want Tears of the Kingdom to be a sad game that pulls at my heartstrings. Is kind of what I was trying to say.
I do think that it has some merit. Like, imagine if Kakariko Village just get torn apart when, like, the Hyrule gets
gosh.
Like, that would be horrifying, but, like...
Or it falls into the ground like a sinkhole.
Yeah,
ooh,
maybe.
Sure. And then, you know, everybody in the village is now dealing with the fact that they live underground. There's no sun anymore. You know, I do like the idea, though,
Digging just wasn't an option, my friend.
True. Well, I do like the idea, though, of them at least, you know, doing something, like, you know, taking something that we loved in the first game and completely, you know, not throwing it in the trash, but making something bad happen. And that makes me sound like a villain. I just like a sad story. I'm a sucker for him.
Terry Town, I worked so hard for it. I hope they don't destroy it.
Oh, no!
But Alex, I imagine you also have something that you would like to change.
I do. I've got a bit of a list, and I think it would make Tears of the Kingdom a substantially better game than Breath of the Wild. Number one, no more breakable weapons. That was a terrible idea. You know, when I get a weapon, I want it to last forever and then never use it. Also, Link needs to be louder, angrier, and have access to a time machine.
Okay, this is satire.
I was worried for a sec. I was like, Alex, no.
I think we should also take into consideration they should bring guns into the game, because guns are cool.
Someone
and
stop
Nintendo's
him.
like such a baby game. It would be so much cooler. Like, all my friends would really like it if it had guns in it.
See, what do we do? What do we do with Alex?
Like Persona.
Where did Alex get these like testimonials from? This
the YouTube comment section.
Yeah. Alex, our videos aren't made for kids, by the way. So I don't know. They couldn't comment anyways, actually. So Who am I kidding?
If I could get onto a serious point, and I mean a genuinely serious point, one thing that I would really love to see is Breath of the Wild. The open world itself was fantastic, but it was all one level. I mean, you had some bits that went a bit underground and that sort of thing, and, you know, I suppose some mountaintops technically may have curved over. You know, I'm talking dueling peaks. I nearly said twin peaks. I'm very pleased I corrected myself.
Oh, love that show, though.
But I would really like there to be more layers to Hyrule. You know, I want to, you know, sort of, I'm not saying that, oh, you know, there should always be 3 layers and you can jump between them. That'd be boring, but I want the main area to be the main plane that we've experienced already. But also, there are areas where you can go underground. There's this network of tunnels, and, you know, sort of they can be connected, or maybe you get an ability that allows you to connect the tunnels in some way. And as we've already seen, the sky area as well. I want there to be 3 layers, and they're all sort of interlinked and sort of squiggled together like a lovely plate of spaghetti.
That's a lovely way of putting it. Like, all the land that's in the sky must have left some massive holes, and maybe there's some secret passages that you can travel through. I really like the idea.
Precisely. I think I've mentioned this before on the channel, but in like a previous video, but ideas of bits of Hyrule being ripped up into the sky, like Hyrule Castle from that original teaser from, I think that was like 1997 that they revealed it, or it feels like it was that long ago.
Yeah,
and
I think it was earlier, actually.
My brain is melting.
I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, bits of land being ripped out of the ground. It not only means that that land is now in the sky, but also you've got access to stuff underneath. Even more so, we've seen all these ruins, which we're presuming are Zonai, and they were always underground, baby. It's just Link didn't have a shovel because he couldn't nick it from the shop this time.
Maybe he'll finally get his hands on the mole mitts from Minish Cap, and then when he's down there...
I like them. They were useless, but...
They were cute, and maybe when he's down there digging, he'll encounter the dad from Mole Mania and his family, and he'll be like, hey, thanks for keeping us safe. Don't tell anyone about us, and then they'll give him a treasure, and that's it.
That's almost as good as my second request,
or
hope, or I suppose, which I just want to say very quickly because it's very broad and I can't give any details. But I want there to be an even deeper combat system, not one that you need to get into or anything like that in order to, you know, to defeat this boss you need to use Link's sidestep, backflip, somersault forward, smash attack. You don't, you know, but the fact that we've got things like the flurry rush and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I want there to be more stuff like that, more options. You know, we had things like the boomerang, criminally underused in the game and by the players. I mean, it was a laugh, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't super useful. I want to see more sort of different ways of approaching things and make some of the ones good.
So I actually, I forgot, I wanted to tell you guys earlier, but Miyamoto is actually listening in on this call, and he just wants to confirm that...
Again?
Alex, you want motion controls in this game? You want motion sword combat from Skyward Sword? You want that back? Is that what you're saying here? By
if
in-depth
Miyamoto's
combat?
on this call, yes, I do.
All right. Yeah.
If he's not on this call, no, I don't.
Okay, well then he's gonna run off and he's gonna get it done. He said so. He's dipping out now. But
Okay.
sorry, Felix.
The one-man developer, Shigeru Miyamoto, makes all the Zelda.
Yep.
Actually, he doesn't make the game. He just stands for the like motion control aspects. If there is something in a Zelda game.
Is it motion control time?
So a thing that I actually want to stay in the game is Korok seeds. Like, bear with me. A lot of people say that we have way too many, but no. Korok seeds is one of the best things in the map because it means that there's always something. If there's not a quest, well, there's a Korok seed, and I find it's very rewarding. At least in the start. At the end, you can't really use them, but like, you're not meant to collect everyone. It's meant so that...
No. It's just that you can collect as many as you need for the upgrades that you want from the big chap.
Exactly. A thing I do want to change, though, is like when you collect a new item. My god, don't pull up the menu if I have a full inventory, or at least let me swap it. It's like the only thing it's so annoying.
Yeah, just the ability to just say what item do you want to drop, including what you've just opened.
Animal Crossing does it perfectly. You grab something and says, oh, your inventory is full. Do you want to swap it or do you want to drop it? It's as simple.
I would say that Animal Crossing is a little bit wordy in the way that it does it, but it at least gives you the option. It's just sort of like, whoops, there's too many things in my pocket. Should I get something? And it's just like, all it needs to say is inventory full, beep boop, 1001 drop item. I mean, that's going perhaps too far in the other direction, but you understand my point.
I do.
It's been a while since I've played Breath of the Wild because my mom.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. See, now you get it. You're welcome to the club. So my mom's borrowing my copy of Breath of the Wild, and she has been for probably like a year. Hi, Mom. She's probably watching this video. But then my partner is borrowing one of her friends' copy of Breath of the Wild. So we are a Breath of the Wildless household right now. So I know. I'm sorry. So when you open a chest, does the item go back into the chest when you reject it?
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So you don't lose the item. It's not rubbish. It's not like when you get a rupee, like you get a silver rupee or something, one of the previous games when your wallet's full and it just goes, ha! You
Wow.
lost it. It fell out of your wallet. Yeah, crabs.
I love how just like sinister and like disruptive, I guess the game is, like how you're like trying to make the game just sound like this like evil force that like is just so happy that you can't take the money. I appreciate that.
We can't put any more money into your wallet or it'll cause an integer overflow.
I wish I was in that situation.
What was that?
I wish I was in the situation where my wallet is too full.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not that I've had cash in my wallet for about 18 months.
I don't think cash existed when I got born. That's a lie. I'm exaggerating.
I was going to say, I'm fairly certain I've got some cash downstairs. Or do you predate cash?
Cash.
You're older than
Felix.
the universe. There has always been Felix.
Yeah, he's an ancient.
You know a cool thing that would be nice
Hang
to
on,
have?
sorry, Felix. Are you trying to bring the topic back in line with the video's
Stop.
title? Because I'm not sure I can stand for that.
We're getting slightly off topic, so I want to rail it back on track and talk about clothing presets. Let me just have clothing presets for like the Sora armor or like the climbing armor. I'm tired of having to change the head, the body, the trousers.
Knees and toes.
But wouldn't that just be cool?
That would be super nice.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom freshest fits.
It's DLC where you just design clothes.
No, freshest fits is the Splatoon thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you try. Yeah, but it's just that I want in Tears of the Kingdom. I want to be able to wear Splatoon clothes and have Splatoon guns, going back to Alex's proposal.
Hell yeah.
So speaking of clothing, I was thinking it'd be kind of fun if, you know, on the topic of Majora's Mask, my Majora's Mask riddled brain, it'd be so cool if you're just, you know, like Alex was saying, you're digging underground and you find this treasure chest, and before you open it, there's like a message that's like, uh-oh, this is something bad. I don't know if you want to do this. I don't know if you want to be here right now. You might want to leave this for somebody else. And you open it up and there's a mask in there. I don't know what this mask is. Maybe it's from Majora's Mask. Maybe it's some new mask. But you put it on, and it transforms you into something weird. Now, I know that Nintendo doesn't like to always... Yeah,
like a crab.
Sure, okay. I
Just
give you
a normal-sized crab.
Yeah, okay, it's a crab. But regardless, you know, I know Nintendo doesn't like to always do things that they've done in past Zelda games. Sometimes they like to let those just be and do something different. But so maybe it doesn't turn you into a crab. Maybe it doesn't turn you into a Zora. But I was thinking, you know, the equipment pieces that you already get in the game already kind of give you some stat boosts, and they change the way the game plays anyways. So maybe there could just be like a face equipment piece instead, and maybe there's only a couple different masks to collect. But I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you can, and maybe it's something that also gives you a debuff in some regard, like.
Okay.
You know, sort of you wear the, like for argument's sake, the Goron mask. It doesn't turn you into a Goron, but it imbues you with the power of a Goron, which means that you move more slowly and you're like easier to knock over or something like that, but you deal more damage.
Okay, yeah. And
I always like it when it's a tit for tat thing. I don't just want something that's just like, it makes you better. It's like, no, because then I'm not going to wear anything else, am I?
Yeah.
I want there to be a downside. I want there to be a sting in the tail. I want there to be a thorn in my side when I put on the Raven mask.
It sounds like Alex likes to play games on hard mode. I do not, but
I don't.
I do. I do like your idea here. It's very fair.
So, as Sion said previously, I've been playing through Breath of the Wild again just for fun's sake, and I think I really appreciated that. Please don't. It's a very, very small thing, but it's just items that you can take glimmer ever so slightly, and I know it's very minimalistic, but just keep the glimmer in, and I'm very happy because then I know where the rush rooms are. I need to collect 55 of them. Oh, my life.
Oh,
I'd actually like the ability to potentially farm certain ingredients. Like in Skyrim with the Hearthfire DLC, you can plant things in the ground, and it's like the wonkiest way they could possibly have implemented it. You interact with the ground and it says give gift, and it's like I'm not giving the ground a gift. I'm trying to plant something. You try and plant, and if you try and plant more than one thing, it has a freak out. And it like removes the things from your inventory and then gives it back to you. Anyway, I want to do that, but more smoothly in Tears of the Kingdom. I want Link to have his little house, and you just, even if it's just a few, you can just grow mushroom, and you can harvest it every, sort of couple of days or so. That'd be nice, because quite often you want to make things, and I understand exploring the world is the big thing, but at the same time, just a few things, like hard to get ingredients. I'd like the ability to take a little bit of control and maybe make some of the, weaken the hearty things, because they are overpowered as all sin.
I bet there'd be a way to make that work in the sense that, crops only grow like every few real world days, since we already have the fact that you can only use like an amiibo so many times in a day, or you can only use so many amiibo in a day or something like that, or once a day.
Yeah.
But maybe they could use that same technology.
Basically, I think that the Switch has a severe lack of farming sims, and I think Tears of the Kingdom could fill that niche.
You're absolutely right.
Even if it's just a bit, right?
Yeah.
Farming game of the year, Tears of the Kingdom. See it now.
I hate where this is going.
Speaking of hating things and amiibo as well. So you know how in Breath of the Wild, if you had the Wolf Link amiibo that they created for Twilight Princess on Wii U, you could scan it into the game, and then Wolf Link would come out and just like be your pal and fight with you, and then he would run away after a while or something, or he could die, R.I.P. But that was a thing. So what if in Tears of the Kingdom they take advantage of the Loftwing amiibo that they made for Skyward Sword, and there's a Loftwing that you can ride on. And
haven't you already said this in a previous chat we've had?
Did I?
Maybe.
What?
Oh.
Because I'm not sure we should be flying, mate. I think flight could break the game.
I don't like the idea of locking this behind an amiibo either.
Oh no, that was my second
cool.
point. That's also a terrible idea.
Yeah. So that was. Remember, I prefaced by saying, speaking of hating things, I don't like this idea. I wish this was. I hope Nintendo doesn't hear this and they're like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Stores have a lot of those amiibo sitting around still.
I mean, we already gave them the idea of motion controls in this one, so don't give them any more.
True. That's true. Miyamoto is actually still on the call.
Miyamoto, get out!
If we don't appear in the special thanks section in the credits, I'm going to be furious.
But yeah, I don't want that. I could just... Maybe it's more of a prediction. Like, if that happens, everyone can be mad at me. So...
But, Sion, you mentioned a thing to me here yesterday that you would like the quests to be more in-depth in this game.
Yeah, that's a good point. So side quests are some of my favorite parts of the past Zelda games. I feel like some of them really stand out in my brain, especially like the item trading mini games that we have in like Ocarina of Time, like Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
Has one.
Oh,
yeah.
Love that one. You get the can of dog food, you give it to the crocodile.
Right. It's just they're so outlandish and weird, and Breath of the Wild's a very weird game. But we have this expansive map that it could be a lot of fun to try and rush an item over to a certain destination in a certain amount of time. Actually, maybe that would be fun. That's just usually that's the stressful part of the item trading mini games. But we have this big world. Why not do something like that? I really liked there's that flower side quest as well, where you're supposed to walk along like the path and not step on the
Flower
person's
Blight
flowers.
Ganon.
Yes, of course. Yeah, just the worst final boss for a Zelda game ever. But like that side quest with that lady specifically had like not like big cutscenes, but you got to see her get all animated and angry. And I feel like Breath of the Wild didn't have enough of that. Do more stuff like Terrytown and the Heart Pond. That's one of the big ways I want to see Tears of the Kingdom / Breath of the Wild 2 fleshed out more is with fun side quests that are memorable. Because I don't really remember a lot from Breath of the Wild 1, but maybe you guys, I just said it again, Breath of the Wild 1, but maybe you guys remember them better.
So I definitely think you are right that a lot of the quests aren't very memorable, but I think the quests are a bit similar to Korok Seeds. Like, for example, collect 10 crickets or collect 55 mushrooms. Sure. Like, you're not meant to just go do those right now. It's more like, oh, I know I have to collect a lot of mushrooms, so I'm on the lookout for that. There are also, like, we have Terrytown, but there's also some quests like in the Gerudo Town, you have to go get ice, and the ice melts, and you have to be very quick. Those sort of quests are very, very fun. So I'm on board with you that I would like more in-depth quests with more cutscenes and more stuff. But again, I think a lot of them are just there, so yeah, stuff to look for out in the overworld, just like Korok Seeds.
Yeah, and maybe I'm not giving Breath of the Wild enough credit too, because the more I think about it, there's the side quest in the desert too, where you have to fight the giant
Molduga.
Like that really surprised me back in the day, because I don't know, I just came across it naturally, and that is probably the coolest thing about Breath of the Wild is there's so much to discover just on your own if you stay away from the internet or even if you're on it, there's just so much in there. But Alex, what else do you want from this game, from Tears of the Kingdom?
Well, in Breath of the Wild 2, I only really have one more thing to add. I want to be surprised. I want all of these predictions, all these, because no doubt loads of other channels are going to be doing all their own sort of things. We're going to be ruminating in our heads until, the 11th hour. I want to pick up the game, and I want there to just be stuff that I'm like, oh my god, I never would have thought of that in 100 years or 100 days.
What if Nintendo, starting on the 100th day, they go, starting today, we're going to be posting a brand new fact about Tears of the Kingdom on Twitter every day.
Day 100, the final boss is...
Gonna mute that really quick. I do agree with you though too that it'll just be nice to know as little as possible about this game. Maybe we can get, what do I don't even know what I want to know. I think I just want the game to be here. We're already kind of sold, right?
The less I know, the better. Like, if there is a direct, I'm like, oh, should I actually watch it? Because I walked in completely blind to Breath of the Wild, and that definitely helped it, making the experience much better, because I had no idea what to expect. And I just hope that Nintendo holds their cards close to their body. I don't know what the expression is, because chest. Oh, thank you. Oh, wow. You're on point today, Alex. Oh, bless you.
Wow, and a sneeze.
So, what is your take on voice acting? Should they do more? Should they do less? Because I feel it's a very weird topic, because voice acting, normally I would always want as much as possible, but I actually find they do a very good job at it in Breath of the Wild, like just with the, Sabak. Oh, ba-doo-ba-doo.
I'm looking forward to finding out who the character is who goes wubba-dubba-doo.
Oh, didn't you know? It's Wolf Link in human form, which is Link. Yeah.
You walked right into that one, didn't you?
Poor Link. I'm curious how Alex feels on this, though. Like, I have things to say, but what do you think, Alex?
I think they got it right with Breath of the Wild. I felt that the voice acting and the cutscenes and the memories and all that sort of thing, that works really well, but if every character was voice acted, I feel like it would be a bit much. The thing is, it's silly. There's a part of me that thinks, well, get with the times, but there's another part of me that's like, doesn't feel very Zelda if there's loads of voice acting. Also, with less voice acting, if the voice acting's not fantastic, it's not as big an impact.
That's the thing that I really like about the voice acting too, is I like what you said, Felix, as well, is that it, the little like grunts and like, so that we get from the characters. That helps so much. Yeah, it like feels like you're in a magical world where you don't necessarily understand their language, but like you get by, and it's just, yeah, it's really fun. I like the way that it's implemented. I hope it doesn't change. Maybe they could add a bit more voice acting in here and there for certain scenes, but I like the random NPCs that you encounter. I like them being mostly silent still.
I must admit, given the grunt thing, I agree. I think it works really well. You just get the occasional and stuff like that. But the thing is, it's like it works when there's no dialogue. But that's the sort of thing that drives me up the wall with certain animation. Generally, is that sometimes you'll have characters that instead of saying something or just not saying anything, they'll see something and they'll go or like and it's like that's not how people talk. But it's just a little like indicator, and I think it works well in Breath of the Wild, but I've played plenty of games where it doesn't.
When it's different too, I'm thinking back to your Mario plus Rabbids preview, I think, Alex, for Sparks of Hope, where you talked about how the characters in the game would often say like the first few words of a sentence, or they would have like repeating dialogue maybe as well. I can't remember if that game does that or not, but it's also you get things like characters will say, like in terms of the text, something along the lines of
yeet.
We'd better get going, or something like that, but the actual voice acting would just be like a very generic well then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't care for that. I think it's trying to ride that line, and it just doesn't work. Go one way or the other.
Well, speaking of all of the incredibly long lines of dialogue that they could record, which sounds like it would take a very long time, I'm curious if you guys have thoughts about, to sort of wrap up the video, potentially, if Felix wants to. What do you think they've been spending all this time on with Tears of the Kingdom?
We could be talking like the same length we've been talking now. We could just talk about that topic.
I think they've spent all this time making the game.
Gasp!
They've been on Twitter, seeing all the drama of the takeover and stuff.
Oh no. Stop scrolling.
But it's a very good question, because I've been wondering that myself. Like, I really want to be surprised, just as Alex says, just something that you never thought about. And how's the map? I'm really curious if they're going to just reuse the map, if the floating platforms completely change the layout of everything. Like, are we going to travel in time? It's just, what have they been doing? I am dying to find out.
I mean, I really like the idea that Alex pitched about there being this like whole underground system that's you can traverse, and the fact that you can like fly through the sky now, really it changes this painting that they've created. It changes it so much, the structure.
It's just, we know they make good games, and they've been using so much time on this. It is probably very substantial. And you said something about undergrounds. Maybe there's dungeons, which I know a lot of people have been clamoring about.
Yeah, I was just thinking in my head, imagine if, through the underground sections, there's just generally sort of networks and things like that, and you'll see some enemies, there'll be some camps, and then at one point you go down, it gets quite dark, this long sort of tunnel, and then it just opens out. And it says, like, entering Dormammu's cavern. That's a Marvel character.
You're going to make me cry over here, Alex. It sounds so beautiful.
Just entering, and it's just like, you're in a dungeon now. Like, there's no loading screen. There's nothing. You just walk through, and then it's just like, it does that music that you went, like when you enter a shrine.
Oh, that music. Okay, sorry.
And, but it's all just this seamless experience. And you just walk up to it, and you happen upon it by complete chance. And it's the sort of thing that, if you went to the right places and you talked to the right people, they'd let you know that there was this underground thing there, or you could just happen upon it.
Yeah.
That's what I love. What I love about Breath of the Wild is just, just finding something when you feel like you're not supposed to.
Exactly.
And that's just the magic. And if you got 3 layers, baby, that's 3 times the surprises.
It was so cool discovering like blowing up a wall and discovering this shrine in Breath of the Wild, and it was surrounded by a pool of water, or it was in an icy cavern, and there's a giant skull of a dragon or something in here, and those elements, like having that be fleshed out a bit more and being able to find this dungeon, this cave that you can actually explore and find more secrets in. That'd be really cool. And honestly, dungeons was the final topic on my list of notes, and
Nice.
and that was what sparked this question. So I'm really glad that you both mentioned dungeons, because
I do love the thing that you're not supposed to find, like, it feels like you're not supposed to find something at that given time. For example, in this playthrough, I just went to the desert at the start. I didn't go to Empire, I just went to the desert, and it felt so wrong. I was like, what? How am I here? And the story just progresses. You get to the town and all that, yada yada. But I hope that there's more of that in Tears of the Kingdom. And a last thing I want to, a last wish is just, imagine if there's a giant town up, in the sky. I just want, this giant, a big town. Because we have small villages, but imagine a big town in Zelda. That would be sick.
Yeah. I mean,
It
you're totally
would, but I
right.
don't know whether that would take away from the sort of the natural landscape and the sense of exploration. If you've got a big town that's overly populated that you could use as
I know it doesn't make sense. I just hope that there's a big town.
Well, there could be some. I do agree that having kind of these just little networks of people scattered around the world is really.
I'm not saying it doesn't work.
It's
I just
nice.
say it would be nice for something different, but it's probably not going to happen.
But it could be something like there's a town being built throughout the game, and you can sort of like Terrytown, where you can invite some people to come work on it, but instead you can invite people to come live in the town instead, and that could be something that you become a part of throughout the story. But I do see what Alex says though about it kind of defeating or impacting some of that sense of you're kind of scared when you're walking around sometimes, because you don't always there's not this big hub world that you can just go back to and heal up and poof, I guess you can go back to Kakariko, but you don't always just have this giant hub that you can go back to. So,
and a lot of these things that I'm saying, at least, I feel it's very nitpicky. I would be fine if Tears of the Kingdom is just more Breath of the Wild, because man, do I just love that game. I just want to make that clear, because I feel like it was even hard to just come up with stuff. Oh, what do they even need to change? Because it feels so good.
You're just happy enough.
I'm very happy.
If you're happy, I'm happy.
But, I would be very happy if you let us know down in the comments below, what your predictions are for this game, because the time is ticking. It's only 100 days away. And thank you, Alex, and thank you, Cian, for joining me in this chat. It was very lovely to talk about Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm sure we're going to do it much more when the days tick away.
Oh no, it is Clocktown. Oh no.
But that was all. Stay safe, play some Breath of the Wild while you wait for Tears of the Kingdom, and I'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.
This discussion suddenly made me incredibly desperate to play Tears of the Kingdom. I was fine before this, but now I'm having a mental issue.